Don't stop. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is Tuesday, right? Thank you. So why is Twitter causing such emotional strife in the government and in the media? Well, they were the junkies, and their drug dealer just got killed. Elon Musk now runs the corner with new rules and new prices, and the junkies are screaming, this just isn't fair. But it is. It's fairer than cat's skin after giving 2 pints of blood in February. Whoever wrote that is kind of freaking me out now. But when you're used to preferential treatment, you always complain when the fields are finally level. That's what you're seeing. With Twitter changing, the media is losing their lie insurance. Twitter was to the media what cow farmers are to McDonald's, what college football is to the NFL, what KFC is to Joy Behar's ass. It was the assembly line of approved opinions to bolster their ideologies. Listen to this White House reporter begging the White House to say that they'll get involved.
This is a critical moment, really, in terms of ensuring that Twitter does not become a vector for misinformation. I mean, are you concerned? Who is it at the White House that is really keeping track of this?
Social media companies have a responsibility to prevent their platforms from being used by any user to incite violence, especially violence directed at individual communities, as we have been seeing, and the president has been very clear on calling that out. He'll continue to do that, and we're going to continue to monitor the situation.
Monitoring the situation. Can you blame them for freaking out? It's like pulling a rattle out of a teething baby's mouth and saying, "No more, you whiny little brat." Remember, in the old days, journalists had beats. They covered local government, crime, sports. Back then, no one covered soccer. You had to call people and get quotes and write a story based on your notes in a little notepad. But that changed with Twitter. Tweets replaced beats. And now they think those tweets are gone forever. And it's scary because journalists relied on Twitter to tell them what to think and what the news was, which is like getting your drinking water from your neighbor's septic tank. But if it trended on Twitter, they jumped on it quicker than me on a story about a trans teacher with giant boobs. I'm not gonna let it go. I think the audience is with me. Thank you. Yes. But what trended is what only turned on in activists. Usually a 20-year-old with hygiene issues and undefined sexual problems that require him to Scotch guard his mouse pad. The media let the loudest, most irrational people guide them. Twitter provided the opinions, which is why you hear the same ones over and over again in the media. Not one original thought. And that's bad for political discourse, but great for forcing people to say men can have babies. It's amazing to watch the people feed off others like a soccer team whose plane crashed on a mountain. It's the best thing that ever happened to soccer. I joke. Meanwhile, Twitter's previous bosses axed anything that would interfere with a biased narrative. You know, like a story about a certain crackhead and his laptop. Now you see why these hacks are so terrified. They might have to actually work for a living. Musk took their cheat sheet away, and they're already in full meltdown mode.
It's amazing to watch someone like Elon Musk, who is such a, he's such a child. You know, he's so immature, he needs attention all the time. And these guys with these money and this attention and these daddy issues.
This libertarian nonsense is destructive to American national security. And he has got to reinstitute the same restrictions that were on Twitter before he bought it.
And that sort of speaks to how he's been governing over at Twitter. Not much transparency into what's going on, just really him ruling by tweets.
There's something very dangerous about him. He reminds me of a Bond villain. As I said, when the richest guy in the world buys a social media platform, it's just not a good equation. I think he's a dangerous fella.
A dangerous fella, says the stupid guy at MSNBC. I don't have to applaud. Don't have to applaud. Save that for later, when I take off my shirt. So it's weird. How did a media come to find a person who's expanding free speech to be so dangerous? Well, this is what happens when one defines disagreeableness as hate speech, and hate speech then as a crime, because then free speech becomes a crime for allowing disagreeable speech. So they don't want what Elon wants, which is a town square, unless they could run it like Tiananmen. They wanted a private club with a velvet rope that kept scrubs like you out. It's why a tiny percentage of Twitter users were responsible for nearly all the tweets. And those are the people you see in panic mode. You know, a rocket scientist named Alyssa Milano, a nuclear physicist named Rob Reiner, a world-renowned heart surgeon named Deborah Messing. But it's no surprise they're mad. Now we'll be able to see when their pants are on fire. And we're already seeing how Musk is planning to expose their prior failures, too. On Monday, he tweeted, "The Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserves to know what really happened." So he's clearly alluding to Twitter censoring the New York Post Hunter Biden laptop story before the 2020 election. A story that the rest of the media is finally admitting was true all along, when it's safe to. Although it's just in time for that new Hunter Biden Christmas special that I've been hearing about. I can't wait.
This holiday season, don't punish yourself with another boring rerun. Blow the roof off the dump with an unforgettable special for the ages. It's a Hunter Biden Christmas. You'll see Hunter being naughty, playing in the snow, and baking cookies with his meth dealer Enrique. Plus, you'll see a moving performance of Oh Holy Night by Hunter's all-prostitute choir. And what holiday special would be complete without a hair-sniffing visit from the big guy himself? It's a Hunter Biden Christmas, next Thursday at 8, only on Fox.
Yeah. That's what I call a truly white Christmas. Let's welcome tonight's guest. As a lawyer and cheerleader, she was known for her motions. Outnumbered co-host Emily Cabano. The opinions he writes keeps liberals up at night. Fox News contributor and Washington Times opinion editor, Charlie Hurd. And she'll steal your heart while going through your wallet. Fox News contributor, Kat Tibb. And finally, Santa sits on his lap for Christmas. My massive sidekick in the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Tyrant.
That you?
No, that is.
I feel like that was you.
No.
I didn't write any of that. No, I'm kidding. Emily, great to see you again.
Great to be here.
I know, it really is. It must be great for you to be on this show. What do you make about this kind of, I don't know, this, I hate to use the word melting down, but it's more like, you know, this kind of irrational concern that's coming from the media and the government?
You know, I think it would be amusing, it would be laughable if it didn't actually have real-world consequences on so many people. You know, this is the same group of people. So we have the White House press secretary saying that they are monitoring the platform for hate. That's the most important thing on the president's agenda. Meanwhile, the Ayatollah has been texting or tweeting freely on it the whole time. Mm-hmm. These are the same lawmakers, number one among them, Kamala Harris, who are in bed with the social media platforms. It's the reason why none of them are liable for anything that happens on it. So when people have enjoyed live stream of rapes and people, you know, garnering support for really terrible, horrible, violent crimes, no one at the top is ever held accountable because of these people in charge in this administration, right? It's just the users. But they flip that point of view when all of a sudden Elon Musk is the reason that the world is falling apart. And this is the same president who, I guess, again, this is his priority, but he decides to take air marshals off planes, put them at the southern border, right? Our dollar's going up. There are so many things in this world that are consuming Americans, that are true stressors. And yet this is what is consuming our administration. This is what our tax dollars are funding, is their hair catching on fire.
Yeah, I wouldn't knock the Ayatollah's tweets. They are pretty good. Did you see his top 10 list of Christmas movies?
Oh, God. Oh. Is Hunter Biden's Christmas on them?
Scrooge was number one, which I was totally surprised. He didn't even have a Christmas story on there. Ayatollah, get with the program. Charlie, a pleasure seeing you as well. What do you make of the fact that they're so scared? I really do believe this has to do with hate speech now being broadened to include anything disagreeable.
Oh, I think you're exactly right. What's so amazing about it is to listen to people in the press.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are the most upset about it. And it's, and if you step back and you take something like Twitter, which is kind of the most amazing democratizing tool in the world for free speech. And only these people could take it and twist it around and turn it into a weapon in order to silence the people that not only silence their enemies, but what you're pointing out, which I think is exactly what they're doing. They're actually making their opponents and what their opponents support like illegal,
right,
and illicit and verboten. And
that's German, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Just want to check.
But it really is amazing to, we hear these people, they talk so much about threats to democracy. And they ran the whole last election about threats to democracy. And the single greatest threat to democracy is these people collusion between the media and people like Joe Biden and Democrats in order to silence the electorate. Because without an informed electorate, you don't have a republic.
Yeah, it's funny because these are the people talking about misinformation and disinformation.
Yeah.
That's a little rich, Kat, don't you think?
Yep.
Yep. Trying to think of like an analogy, like Twitter being taken over by Elon Musk, something that would upset the Republicans would be like the NRA choosing a new president, and it's, I don't know, Alyssa Milano or something like that.
Or just Twitter before Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because all of the things that conservatives were complaining about, and people were saying, oh, that's crazy, you're not being shadow banned, or oh, there's no politically motivated algorithms. Keep in mind, the only thing that people on the left are upset about is that conservatives were right the whole time.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're expected to just not care.
Yeah.
And they're really trying to, they're trying and failing to sort of make it seem like Elon is hypocritical. I've seen a lot of people, okay, well, if he's that libertarian, if he believes in free speech, well, you can't do anything about Apple wants to do. It's like, yeah, he said he didn't like it. He didn't say that there should be a law to stop Apple from doing this. All that the libertarian or the free speech point of view says is you can just say what you want, you can do what you want, and I'm not going to interfere with that, or I don't think the government should interfere with that. And just because it's not a First Amendment violation doesn't mean that it doesn't go against the cultural value of free speech, which also has value, whether First Amendment applies to it or not.
Look at that. Oh, the scholarship. What? What? I don't know.
What do you
were
want?
looking at me. I'm looking at you.
I have to look at you. You're the host.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. You know what?
I know it's hard to look away.
Okay. Yeah, I just look above. Listen, this is any time you've seen in court where a victim of a horrible crime, the other attorney's job is to make them look like something's wrong with them. Like a rape victim, they bring up her sexual past to try to diminish her. They have used Twitter as their frontline defense and filter. They've used it to go after enemies. They've used it to protect themselves. They use it to protect their guy. The Hunter Biden story would have certainly cost him the election. So they squashed it. They squashed story after story, and then anybody they wanted to choose to go after to end them, it wasn't through courts, it wasn't through the police, it was through Twitter. They canceled. They became woke. Elon, by opening up, is now showing the crimes they committed, the things that they did wrong. So what do? Do you own it? No. You have to make Elon a criminal.
Yeah.
So they now use words that mean nothing. He's attacking free speech. How is he doing that? He didn't say this is the new right tweet and replace the bird with an elephant. You know what I'm saying? He just said we can all talk.
Yeah.
Because which means things are going to come out.
Right.
And he's messing with them. I'm going to put the information because there's going to be conversations, just like there was those text messages about President Trump going, we cannot let this happen.
Right.
We have the FBI agents were texting back and forth and how they were going to go to get rid of him. Those things were happening in Twitter, and they didn't, unlike the FBI, who the ones that had to be secretive, they were just talking about it, and they were doing it. So they have to create him. They have to make him a criminal. They have to spin it. And they're going to pull in all their allies. That's why the White House is watching, and suddenly Apple all of a sudden cares about free speech and platforms.
Right.
Meanwhile, in China, where their phones are made, it's horrible over there, but they got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Because they have to make Elon a criminal.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.